and vice chair are not here. Oh, our chair is walking in now, saved by the bell. We were going to have to elect a temporary chair, but now we don't have to.
Thank you.
But while she's getting settled, I would invite folks to join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. Okay. Well, let me see. I switched off the agenda. So next on the agenda would be to open public comment. It is 6:33. And then we get to hear from our students. Welcome, Sadie. Happy senior year.
Thank you.
And we'll let you kick things off.
Alrighty, so August 12th through 14th was our Fresh Start program for the upcoming class. We had a turnout of about 250 students, and they participated in a variety of team building games as well as receiving tours of the school from our upperclassmen volunteers. Freshman First Day is August 26th, which will include the activities fair as well as the transfer student orientation. Student council officers as well as the freshman seminar leaders will be present to help with both the freshmen as well as the transfer students. And then the rest of the school starts August 27th. For sports, preseason and tryouts for fall sports started this week, and then they all have their first official games next week.
Okay, thank you. Are you still logging in?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for June 11th.
I have a motion for the, are there any changes that anybody needs?
No.
Okay.
Or what?
Then can I get a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the minutes from the Winnacunnet School Board public hearing and meeting from Wednesday, June 11th, 2025.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next are reports.
Do you want to start, Dr. Stewart?
Happy to.
Hello again, everybody.
Hello.
Good to see you all. I have 3 quick items for you. First, in your in the report in board docs is just a summary again of what is extended school year, what is the purpose of it, how do the teams determine why students are recommended for an extended school year during the summer. We're talking about students with disabilities. If they're in danger of regression over the summer months, we do offer a 4-week summer program. You will read later in the special services report details about how it went at Winnacunnet. Director Terrian wrote a nice summary of the success that they had here in the program. So I won't belabor that and just let you know that once again this year we had a very successful ESY program at Winnacunnet High School. So that's wonderful. Just an update on professional learning. Once again this summer, several of the directors, including Director Terrian and I, attended the New Hampshire Association of Special Education Administrators Summer Conference in Meredith. On our first day, we heard from several attorneys who helped us understand recent state and federal legislation that impacts special education in particular. It's also an opportunity for us to strengthen our leadership skills, and we met with a wonderful psychologist and educator for a day and a half who we're hoping will come and deliver some professional development for us in April of 26. So that was a good opportunity to make a connection. And then I have good news. You know, I preach about this wonderful opportunity we've had for the last 2 years with the Cook Center for Human Connection, and they have been providing parentguidance.org as a no-cost tool for parents to get a dedicated coach once a week for 30 minutes, virtual meeting, and then available by email and text every other day of the week with their coach for as many weeks as they would like to continue. Lots of really good parenting advice and information and whatever struggles they're having for both families and staff who have children and who would also like to take advantage of this. And so We had a grant last year. This year we didn't have the grant. Cook Center graciously put us together with SAU 90 and gave us an economy of cost benefit for both of our SAUs. And so we were able to get in again thanks to Principal McGowan and our other principals who came up with the balance through some grant funds and that they had, and were able to offer it for the third year. So what we need you for is to spread the word. We'll keep publicizing it so that our families continue to take advantage of everything that they have to offer. So just a summary of all of the components are in your report again. Questions for me?
And just for the people listening, it says in our here that there were 44 families that took place in that. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. And when we think about and average the cost, it's really pennies on the dollar for in terms of what they're getting. So I'm really grateful that the principals came forward and were able to do that. And the really good news about that is that those families have stayed consistent. So once they get into it, they don't want to leave because they find it that valuable. So we have to keep spreading the word and get more and more families involved.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'll tag on with some other SAU information. We have been working hard to onboard new staff members in time for the start of school. We do still have some educational associate positions available here at Winnacunnet. Because of that, we have talked with our union about potentially contracting out to fill some of those vacancies. So we are looking at those options right now. It is not as cost effective as being able to hire ourselves. However, we have vacancies in our other districts as well, and we know this is true across the region, across the state. These positions remain difficult to fill. So we'll have an update for you on that at a future meeting. At the SAU this summer, we had our annual audit process for Winnacunnet and for each of our other districts. We have been preparing schedules and calendars and gearing up for the year ahead. This summer there was also a lot of work on policy and legislative review, given many of the changes that have occurred with legislation at the state level, and updating handbooks as well in anticipation of the start of the upcoming year. We did have our administrative retreat last week with administrators from across the districts, where we looked at some more our practices around supervision and evaluation, as well as some time for us as a group to discuss some of the legislative changes and policy impacts, and to continue our work on school goals and Portrait of a Learner. Today was the welcome back breakfast for all of our staff. And our new teachers were here the prior 2 days this week. I always love seeing everyone together in one room. We don't get to do that very often as an SAU, and we never know what exciting things might happen on those days.
Well, and we ordered the rain especially, so they didn't have to come in from the sun, so you're welcome.
Which is good.
You're welcome.
The fall feel in the air these last few days has been nice, I will say.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
You heard from Sadie already, but all of our 9th graders and our SST students will be coming back on Tuesday the 26th. And rising seniors, juniors and sophomores will be coming in on Wednesday, August 27th. We'll talk later in the meeting about some of the policy implications that have occurred as a result of legislative changes. But I would also note that the SAU has spent approximately 200 hours of staff time responding to right-to-know requests since the end of the last school year. So that has also been a good chunk of our work.
So 200 hours in less than 3 months.
Yep.
Which is a full-time person, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Largely divided between my administrative assistant and myself.
Yeah. So we're taking, this is, I understand the right to know, and I applaud it, but when people are asking for things that there's no real end to it, there's no real, like, in other words, and people, I think, need to understand the cost that goes into doing that. 200 hours at how much an hour for your time, your assistant's time, to fill these requests. And I'm not saying they're not all of them they're not valid,
Sure.
but it's not cost effective either. If somebody wants something specific known, then that's one thing. But when just for the public to know that when they come in with these right to knows and they're asking this broad spectrum and they're asking for so much, I just want people to understand what that's costing you as a taxpayer and in the district. It's taking manpower away from things that should be not used on that. So I'm not saying you can't ask for it. I just wish when you're asking for it, you could be specific and hone it down and be respectful of the time and cost that it does take, you know?
Do we know, is there any reasonableness criteria in the statute in New Hampshire? Because in Rhode Island, under the Access to Public Records Act, there was a reasonableness for the number of hours for any particular request.
There's no limit on hours under the law in New Hampshire. There is an element of a reasonable request in that there has to be some specificity in the request, but it is fairly unrestricted. And there are, what we can charge for the personnel time involved is very limited under the statute. There is a right to know office of the ombudsman. So if there is a dispute, that is a party that can help resolve it. So if, for example, the district felt that there wasn't specificity in a request, that party could potentially be called upon to help, resolve that difference of opinion between the requester and the requestee, I guess.
And how do you get into that process? Because I'm sorry, 200 hours in the summer for a staff person that could be doing, I'm not saying, could be doing other things.
It has had a significant impact on our work in our office, no question. And I mean, everyone who works there could tell you that it's observable.
Yeah.
People who have come into the office can observe it. Bill's chuckling because he has seen
The
my
piles.
administrative
Piles of
assistant
paper.
and I
Yeah.
buried under piles of paper.
So
Some of
how
it
do you
we're
get
able
into
to
the
do digitally.
mediation process?
So, well, I mean, that would be consultation with our attorney if we feel that the request is unreasonable and the party is insistent. That hasn't occurred as of yet.
Okay.
And this is not one request, it's multiple requests, but it is time consuming and labor intensive.
Yeah, it's not just, can I have this? It's because then, Dr. Nato and Rhonda need to go and redact names and confidential things. So that's where the time's coming. It's not like, oh, I can just there you go, and email it, which I think some people think that's the case, and it's not. So that's where it becomes time, sensitive and time wasted.
Costly.
But yeah.
I mean, I think our budgetary climate right now is just a lot more concerning, and that's why I'm wondering, to the extent that this 200 hours starts to get into unreasonable territory, we might be thinking about potentially using that avenue.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw requests in Rhode Island, any and all records from the months of X to Y, right? And I worked in the Rhode Island judiciary where there was a lot of rules around the publication of that data.
Sure.
So I'm just suggesting, I think we need to take a look at these hours and potentially in this climate start asking ourselves how reasonable each request is.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Next on the agenda. You're all set, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Principal's report.
Good evening. Busy summer. Not sure if the phase 1 of the roof project has been completed.
Yay.
And it looks very good. I mean, if you walk down the mall hall, it's so much brighter. A lot of the classrooms, the windows, it's definitely a positive experience.
Yay.
Returning students have already noticed.
Yes.
Yes.
Looks a
Doesn't it look
lot
great?
better. Yes,
Yeah.
that's great.
That's great. That's awesome. I know, you should.
But busy summer school, 52 students in the summer school program. We continued our boat building class. And then this year, 2 teachers had approached me if they could do a SAT prep class, and we had 34 students participate in that.
Great.
We had 2 sessions. Cedar Summit, again, this is the 14th year that we've had that program. It was successful. This year, and they added the polar caves. That was something new. And some of the teachers almost got stuck.
No.
I won't mention any names.
I could see that news article.
Yeah.
We had the extended school year program, which was students had a lot of fun, hands-on projects. They also built a STEM-based boat construction activity. Not a real boat, but similar to what we do in Cedar Summit, where they make these model boats and put coins in to see how much weight they can put in before they sink. So,
Nice.
they had a lot of fun doing that. And Fresh Start was a great success. We have about 85% of the incoming class participate. And the other great thing is we had close to 100 upper class as the peer leaders come back each year.
That's great.
Were you one of them?
Yes, I was on.
I'll talk about one donation later on, but we did have a smaller donation from United Way of Massachusetts, Bay and Merrimack Valley, donated $88.31 to support student activities. Fall sports are well underway, and enrollment has increased since we left last June, so we're at 1,010 students.
Oh, great. That's good.
And we're looking forward to seeing students next week.
Yeah.
I told you, my neighbors just had a new baby, and all I was thinking about was enrollment. Oh, and congratulations.
Yeah.
It'll be a few years before they make it to Winnacunnet.
Yes.
Oh my
And
God.
the other good news is we just received notification that Winnacunnet High School earned high national and metro area rankings in the 2025-2026 best high schools.
Yay.
So I believe this is maybe the 8th or 9th straight year that we've received that. So
Great. Good job.
Awesome.
Keep up the
work,
good work.
everyone.
Mm-hmm. Special Services Administration, we already did that, didn't we?
I
so
spoke about the SY program.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
This
okay.
Some more detail about that.
All right, your finance report?
Dr.
That's-
Ferreira is not here, but we have attached the expenditure report. There's not really anything significant to report at this stage. We're only a month into the
Right.
fiscal year. And we don't have a revenue report for you as yet because we're only a month into the fiscal year. I would note that, again, the auditors have been in and collected the data and begun the review of information. So we expect to get the report from the auditors usually October, November. We'll share that with you once complete.
I haven't gone over budget yet.
Yay, good job. And we also have your facilities report is in there also for everybody to review. Next one is our communications committee update. I know you were well, engrossed in that all summer, right?
I was not. Now that I actually know what the date is, it's that time of year. I will have an update after we meet the beginning of the year.
Awesome. That we love that. Legislative update. We have.
Well, not much to report.
Yeah.
I would note here, I had sent an update to the board over the summer about HB2. We'll talk about that later with one of our policies, but when HB2 passed, there was a prohibition on diversity, equity, and inclusion that passed along with that, as part of that, I should say. There is a legal challenge to that right now, trying to gain some clarity on what exactly is being defined in that. So NEA New Hampshire, AFT New Hampshire, several school districts, some individuals and New Hampshire ACLU have filed that lawsuit. We don't, as of yet, have a date on when that hearing may occur. The initial request from the Office of the Former Commissioner was for districts to sign off by September 2nd, that they were not violating that prohibition on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Attempts to gain some clarifying language from the Attorney General's office and the Department of Education have not resulted in any forthcoming as of yet. That doesn't mean that we might not get some. The law that was passed, as it was written in HB 10, it requires that certification by September 30th. So we believe we have some additional time in order to respond to that and should be able to update you at the September meeting.
And there is, I believe, a webinar from the New Hampshire School next week on everything that's been passed up this past session. So I'm gonna be, I signed up for that.
Yes, I don't know if you saw the update that the School Board Association sent out this week about last year's legislation, but it's 240 pages long. So the webinar might be a more succinct way to gather the information.
I think so, that would be good.
Yeah, it won't hurt my eyes as much.
No.
When's
Well,
that
we're just-
webinar again? Is it next week, next Tuesday?
I think so.
Okay.
It's in the New Hampshire School Board Association newsletter, but if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
find it,
okay.
please reach out.
Thank you.
Was that bill we were discussing HB 2 or HB 10?
HB 2.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so next we're gonna go to our policies. We have several for first read.
Would our new policy committee chair like to say anything about the policies or the process?
That's a good point. So we met a few weeks ago, where I saw the construction of the roof and was very excited about that. We had, I mean, there's about 25 policies that we had for first read, and they're listed in our agenda here. There was, let's see, 5 policies recommended for withdrawal due to various reasons. And I think that's about it, unless you have anything else to add.
No, the only thing I would add is that these are all required by law policies, so you will see another batch of policies. This is a combination of policies from our January and June policy committee meeting, but you will see another batch in October of first reads that are the recommended, but not the required by law.
Okay.
So these are just the required by law.
So then we have our next, whoops, sorry, you're done?
Nope, I was just gonna say, and due to our time management, we were able to get through all the policies in that one meeting, so that was really helpful.
Good job, that was very good.
God bless you.
So our next ones are first read and adoption and withdrawal. So these were ones that we wanted to address today.
Yes. So we are recommending that the board consider waiving its policy on policy adoption in order to take immediate action on these policies. The first of them is the New Hampshire Parental Bill of Rights. That law was passed during the last legislative session and signed into law by the governor. It is currently in effect, and the law requires that the Parental Bill of Rights be included in student handbooks. So we would ask that you approve that. Almost everything that is incorporated into that Parental Bill of Rights already existed as a parental right in state law or New Hampshire regulations, so it doesn't have a material change beyond sort of being consolidated into one place. The second policy is unauthorized communication devices, i.e. the bell-to-bell cell phone ban. I look forward to hearing from our students about the impact of that. But again, the law is in effect for the start of the current school year, so we are recommending adoption of that so that as well can be incorporated into our handbooks. We did send information out to families about this requirement earlier in the week, along with a short video that gives an overview of the law and the expectations. I will note it is not just cell phones, but it includes smartwatches. You can see Bill's wearing his old analog watch right now. Oh, yay!
So administrators just,
Oh, yeah,
Well,
teachers and administrators, everybody in the building. Yeah.
I thought it was just,
Nope.
Bill's a big kid.
Yeah.
So we are all learning new habits. But it also includes any personal device, so tablets, cell phones, smartwatches, etc. So
Sadie's got the big eyes, she's like,
it
really?
will
Yeah.
It'll
will
be an
be-
adjustment.
it will be an adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And for adults as well as
Yeah.
It's not saying anything.
I know, right?
for adults as well as students. And I think, within a few weeks, most of us will have remembered our lives before cell
Yeah.
phones were in our hands 24/7. So I think it's a healthy change for student. I will say All of the feedback that I received after the letter went out this week was positive. A lot of parents expressing appreciation for this change and feeling like it is overdue. Again, I think it is most impactful for our students who, really through no fault of their own, have been raised with these devices on them very frequently. So they'll be learning new habits. They didn't go to high school when there were no cell phones, right? They only know life with cell phones, but we will all adapt and we will learn to call the office if we need to have our plans changed or, for our parents to leave a message for us. So there will be an adjustment period, but I know we will rise to the occasion, and I think in the long run, it is in everyone's best interest.
Well, I will say, since it came out and I thought, okay, let's see what I can do, it actually is, as an adult, I look at it as a positive also, because I now have boundaries that I didn't have when I was wearing my watch that was telling me that I've got a phone call, somebody wants me. It's like, so I had no boundaries whatsoever with clients, with anything. And now when I don't have that, I can actually say, okay, I'm gonna work now and not this time. It's actually kind of nice. So I'm looking forward to it.
I have to dig out my old watch that I think is somewhere buried.
I've got an extra Timex if you want it.
I might need it. I like the large print.
Yep, absolutely.
Numbers. I'm definitely gonna need to check that out. That is the one thing I am missing in not carrying my phone.
I still have a wind-up
Find
clock
that I'm very
I've got a
dependent on
wind-up
it.
clock in the wall in my office.
I love that. It's perfect. Yeah. The only thing I miss is like looking for the tides. That's what I always look on my watch too. So I'm like, okay. But yeah.
The final policy we listed for immediate adoption is called physical and emotional well-being of students, and the changes to that policy are changes that were made to the ED 306s, which are the regulations for education in New Hampshire. So those changes were made by the State Board of Education, and we would, again, recommend adopting that one this evening. And then the policy that I listed for withdrawal or suspension, this goes back to the conversation about HB2, which prohibits, and policy is one of the areas in which this prohibition stands, but prohibits diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so until we get clarification on what exactly is intended by this, our recommendation would be that you consider suspension of this policy so that we are not in violation of the law, which could put your state funding at risk. I think most of the content of the policy is okay, but the title of the policy, and there is a line number 7, about actively recruiting, hiring, and retaining staff that reflect student demographics at all organizational levels. We spoke about this in the spring, actually, when it was a potential concern for federal funding. That concern for federal funding was decided last week when a court said that the U.S. DOE could not hold districts responsible for that prohibition on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the way that the language was written. But right now we're waiting for clarification on the state guidelines.
Okay, so let me see if I have this straight. So the statutes that were passed are now being challenged by various groups in the courts. And what we're doing is we're aligning to those statutes in the interim period before the courts make a decision on the case that's been filed.
So the recommendation would be to suspend the policy,
Okay.
right? Essentially make it inactive until we gain clarification
Okay,
from the courts.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we have a motion that is written out if anybody wants to make it.
Oh, I'll do
Anybody-
that, I guess, as chair of the new
Yeah.
policy subcommittee.
Okay, okay.
I'm not quite sure how to language this,
It's
but
up on the top.
motion to waive
Recommended action.
Yep.
Yep.
WSB policy, BGAA, and approve the adoption and suspension as recommended for the 4 policies presented.
Great. Can I have a second?
Second.
Perfect. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Great. thank you. I know that it's unusual, guys, but we're in unusual times right now to not have time to, but we needed to do it, so. Audit questionnaire?
Yes, so I will play Matt. Not well, I might add. So our auditor, as I noted, Plotzik and Sanderson were here on site last week, the week before, or both of those, maybe even the week before that. But they conduct their on-site audit for the fiscal year 2025. As a part of that, they review our financials, our policies, and our fiscal control measures, and they provide a financial report with any findings or recommendations. As a part of that process, they ask that the school board, as the governing body, fill out the attached questionnaire. So Matt sort of pre-filled this out for you with the answers that were provided by board members last year, and with changes and responses that were sent to him via email. So this evening's meeting is the final formal public review by the board of that questionnaire. And if there are any additional corrections or adjustments, this is the opportunity to make changes to those responses. And once we have all of that from you, we will submit the final document to the chair to sign on behalf of the board.
I think I have just one correction.
Great.
On the board members,
Yes.
under where it says Tracy Williams.
Yes.
I think it should say Tracy is serving her first year in a 3-year term on the school board. She serves
Oh.
as chair
Yes, it should
Okay.
say that.
of the policy
you.
committee. I mean, I was so newly appointed, probably, that just got right past
Real
it.
time.
That's it. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right,
So if no other corrections, we will submit that to you via DocuSign.
all right, sounds good. Extracurricular stipends committee recommendations.
Again, I think you were the board member on that committee. So every year, as agreed to in our collective bargaining agreement, the extracurricular stipend committee meets to review the current stipends and make any recommendations for changes. So the committee included Leslie, the president of the Teachers Association, Sarah Trahan, Andy Wallace, who works here at the high school, Bill, our athletic director, Mr. Abood, and Matt Ferreira from the SAU. So a few recommendations for changes. They recommend adding 3 non-athletic club stipends: Junior Mission Kid to Kid, which works with students at the elementary level, Wisdom Warriors, and Robotics, each of those with a $1,398 stipend. And then recommended removal of some other stipends based on sort of history of use and enrollment in those extracurricular activities. So those were Destination Imagination, Girl Up, Financial Literacy, GSTA, and Spanish. And the total cost of those adjustments, the ups and downs, is $122 additional from the operating budget for this year.
Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept the extracurricular stipends committee recommendations as presented.
Thank you. Second?
Seconded.
Perfect. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Oh,
you do?
Well, I was just going to say I'm very excited about the activities that are coming. The Mission Kid to Kid junior level has really grown and is exciting to watch. The kids have a great time, and it's really nice for those younger students to have the mentor. And I'm also really excited to see the return of robotics. I think that's really important.
There's a core
activities.
group of students that have approached me for the last
Yeah,
year, so we
yeah.
that's
And I think if you are a community member with a passion or interest in robotics and are interested in helping out with that organization, please reach out to the high school. We are always excited about having some volunteers with that particular skill.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm excited. So all those in favor, did we already do that? No, all those in favor? No, that's okay, don't worry. Thanks. We have the next one is our student parent handbook. Are there any specific changes that we should note?
Well, I mean, one pertaining to the cell phone policy as far as that.
Yeah.
We're taking a look at the attendance policy to make it a little bit more accountable for students that miss school.
Mm-hmm.
We did have it reviewed by the lawyer this year that provided feedback as far as language and things like that, so we haven't done that in a while, so that was pretty good.
Good.
And other than that, it's
Pretty much
More.
standard. Okay.
pretty straightforward.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I will just note, again, because of all of the legislative changes, we felt it was an important year to have a legal review of our handbooks across the SAU and make sure we included all the necessary policies, that our language on different issues was correct. So if you adopt this, we will also need to add the parental bill of rights and the link to the newly adopted cell phone policy to the handbook, just so you're aware of those changes.
And I would reiterate to parents of incoming freshmen, anybody who's watching or will hear this, incoming freshmen, but also your sophomores, juniors, and seniors, because of the changes, to please take the time and read it and have the students read it also, so that there aren't the surprises, okay? So that, take the time and go over it with your kids so you both know what's going on. I think it's imperative, so just a plug. Yeah.
Is there like a public comment period for this document, or is there an opportunity for the kids in the school to weigh in, or is it always updated in the summer, and therefore their feedback is kind of gained in real time in the fall?
The latter.
Yeah. Okay.
It generally is updated in the summer, and again, some of that is due to the legislative updates and the timing of when we receive those.
Yeah.
Certainly, I would say that over time, right, feedback from students has helped shape much of what is in the handbook, and
As
will
we've
continue to do
implemented
that.
things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we have changed things based on feedback, and as we thought about things, does this really make sense?
Okay, so there's a process for the students to bring something to the administration and say, we want to talk about this?
Through me usually.
Okay. Sweet. I was
Mhm.
hoping that was what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. So could I get a motion to approve the parent handbook?
I'll move to approve the Winnacunnet High School that's the student athlete one, I'm ahead of myself. The student parent handbook for 2025-2026.
Great. Second?
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor? Oh, any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Then we have the student athletic handbook. Any?
No major changes. This typically is what comes from the NHIAA.
Mhm.
And the only thing that we have added that we have not changed is the acceptable use policy on the student contract. That's still the same. So.
Perfect.
We worked on that a few years ago.
Mhm. Yep.
Because of issues, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the Winnacunnet High School Student Athlete and Parent Handbook 2025-2026.
Any other discussion?
Second.
Oh, sorry, second. Yeah. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
We're rusty from not being here.
It's been a
for
while,
month.
guys. I'm like, we'll get back to it. Again, this is
Not
another.
giving you July off anymore.
I know, that's it. We're gonna have to start coming in. Again, this is another one, this is another one that I really, really, really want the student athletes and their parents to read this together and go over it and know, cause
Oh, yeah.
the last thing I want is somebody to go, well, I didn't know, but you signed your handbook and you've got it. So please take the time and do it together. Really, it benefits everybody, so. Acceptance of gift.
So we received from the Hampton Academy Winnacunnet trustees a total of $9,214 for funding. So that's for several different items. We're going to continue with an additional year of license for the Screen Ages project that ties into cell phone use. And this year there's two versions. There's one for high school and there's one for middle school. So we're going to get both those screenings, and we're going to pick a night in September that we'll have both those screenings, one in the dining hall and one in the auditorium.
Awesome. Okay. Great.
Also a laminator. Our laminator is how many years old?
32.
32 years old.
Oh,
And they,
Are we gonna throw
is
it
there
a
a
party?
specific date, like March 12th or something?
No, it's just an asset to be donated
I
onward.
know, right?
Well,
Oh my God.
the problem is, they don't make the repair parts for it
Oh,
anymore.
all right.
Luckily, maintenance today.
There is that.
Maiden has been able to, thank goodness.
Another 3D printer and spools for the 3D printer. For family consumer science, which some of the money has to go towards family consumer science, we have 2 air fryers and a circuit maker. And we had a little bit left over that we'll get some framing supplies so we can frame the student artwork throughout the building.
Perfect.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
And, I mean, the trustees date back to 1820. It's amazing when I sit at they meet once a year for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But they've been meeting, 1820, and then, they've been providing money to support Hampton Academy, Winnacunnet High School since 1940, and we probably have close to $850,000, $900,000 that they provided over the years.
That's amazing. Well, thank
So,
you.
Thank you to them.
Yes, exactly. Thank you to them. So could I have a motion to, somebody can read that.
I will move to accept donation of $9,214 from the Hampton Academy Winnacunnet trustees to be used for the following: Screen Ages Project, $2,250, a laminator, $2,500, a 3D printer, and filament spools, $2,000, 2 air fryers, $600, circuit maker, $625, and framing supplies for student artwork, $739.
Great. And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion? Just thanking them very much from the bottom of our hearts, so I appreciate that. All those in favor? Perfect. Thank you very much. Our next one is ratification of nominations. So the nominating the following positions, we're going to do that in non-public. So our future meeting, our next Winnacunnet School Board meeting is Wednesday, September 17th at 6:30. And at this time, we're going to go into non-public. So we need to get into... I know, Nicole, where are you? No. All right, so who wants to read that one?
Motion for a roll call to enter non-public session under RSA 91-A:3(2) at 7:15 p.m.
Great.
So
And
just
roll
note that it's under item C.
Item C.
You have to close the public comment, did you do that?
Oh, shoot.
Actually,
Yeah, we're gonna close public comment at 7:15.
and my mistake, this should be item B. Not C, B, hiring.